Hey guys, Simon here bringing you more MTG spoilers for the second chapter of Ravnica 3. Okay, that's a little confusing. Ravnica Allegiance. Yeah, spoilers for Ravnica Allegiance. So the Rakdos, Simic, Azorius, Gruul, and Orzhov are getting some of their big players spoiled now, and in this video we'll go over a few of the most likely to make a splash in this game's story, and a few others just thrown in there because they're just really cool cards. We got guild leaders and insane mythics, so let's get started. To start things off, we have Teysa Karlov, who's had 3 different cards, but this is the first one that's just her name. Okay, cool. As always, she's a human advisor, because she just couldn't snag that guild leader position. That was basically stolen by Kaya, so my prediction that Tessa would rule was a little off. Oh well. For 2 generic and her guild colors, black and white, you get a legendary 2/4 with some nice passive abilities. If a creature dying would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to, trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. So clearly playing off of the Afterlife mechanic, Tessa here loves when things die and tokens. Yep, that's pretty much Afterlife in a nutshell. And this is a card the mechanic really wanted. What a shame it's a legendary. Still, it's a great payoff for an Afterlife deck and is an easy workaround in Limited. You get this, and you get tokens in Afterlife, end of discussion. For me, Teysa Karlov sort of falls in the middle of her previous printings. It's possibly insanely strong for an Aristocrats style deck with loads of other on-death triggers. Like, you guys don't understand, it would be insane. And it looks like they're trending that way. All we need is a pretty cheap sack outlet, and wouldn't you know it, they got one. With the new uncommon Pitiless Pontiff, fitting very snugly in those Orzhov colors, Teysa Karlov are looking like a real thing, and Aristocrats could be coming back. And so be on the lookout, because this is going to be a real thing. Joining Pitiless Pontiff, meet Seraph of the Scales. This angelic limited bomb is a 4/3 for 2 generic and Orzhov colors with flying. Pay 1 white, it gets vigilance until end of turn, pay 1 black, it gains death touch until end of turn, and it has Afterlife 2, which when it dies you get 2 1/1 flying spirit tokens. So yeah, the perfect partner to this Afterlife deck. When Seraph of the Scales dies, and you have something like Tessa out, you get 4 1/1 flyers. Is that right? Am I wrong? I hope not, because that would be really sweet. Outside of that, it's a strong power angel that does a lot of different things. It's a fearless attacker and threat, while its dies to lightning boltness is sort of made up by the fact that you get 2 1/1 flyers sort of as a parting gift. Which, like I said, is doubled if you're running this Tessa Afterlife deck. Great limited card, could be better for standard, but then again, 3 toughness is kinda rough. Let's move into something a little merrier. All this death is a real downer. Here we go. Spawn of effing Mayhem. Let's go Demon Standard. This is a beefy 4/4 for 2 generic and double black with flying and trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then, if you have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. Oh, and if you thought it needed to be better, well, it has Spectacle, which when an opponent takes damage this turn, you can actually play for only 3 mana. Damn, that's strong. Okay, a lot to unpack here. This is a super sweet card because its value and helps to build into a Spectacle deck without forcing you into less than ideal attacking situations. You can curve out a 4/4 flying trample on turn 3, assuming you're aggressive enough, which is just insane. And the demon alone puts your opponent on a clock. Yes, you too take that damage, but you'll get a bonus from this guy when you're below 10, so it's even super relevant in the late game. And this extra ability is also good in the sense that it's going to allow other Spectacle plays every turn. Getting that risk-free damage every turn opens up a lot of other opportunities. Needless to say, it's going to be huge in Rakdos Spectacle decks and is just a great bomb in Limited. Let's move on to my personal favorite guild and their new guild leader, Prime Speaker Vannifar. So, I know I'm supposed to be the lore guy on YouTube, but I gotta be honest here, I got no clue who Vannifar is. I know the previous Prime Speaker mtgrna has moved down to Utopian Speaker, but yeah, this one's new to me. Anyway, it's freaky, it's unique, it's totally Simic, and I love it. This is Prime Speaker Birthing Pod, Vannifar. 2 power, 4 toughness. Get this legendary elf OOZE Wizard? Okay. For 2 generic and Simic colors, so why the birthing pod gaff? When you tap this bad OOZE elf, you can sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to +1 of the creature you sacked and put that creature into play. You can only activate this ability as a sorcery. Yes, this creature is nuts. You can dig whatever creature you want, and in all monstrous sizes, provided you have the time. It kinda harpens back to the old evolve mechanic from Simic that I used to love. But, you know, with evolution, the strong replace the weak, and this card is a shining example of that. A true representation of the Simic code. So as unique and fun this ability is, and thank god it's only 4 mana, it may be tricky to get going. Yet if Vannifar here lives its initial turn, you can slam down a 4 or 5 cost creature, and well, get yourself any 6 cost creature from your deck. The reason I'm skeptical about this card is that it really depends on what you draw, what you have in your hand, and what you have out. In that vein, Vannifar is a pretty blah limited card, because you can't always get a curve that you need to get something big out, and it could just cost you creatures. Still, the Simic didn't disappoint in pushing the boundary of creature abilities. Also, yeah, this doesn't do anything with Adept, I don't think. Weird that the Simic guild leader doesn't do anything with the guild mechanic. Anyway, moving on, finally, let's end with the biggest boy on Ravnica, outside of Bolas in the next block, the leader of the Rakdos Revelers, the Demon Rakdos, who sadly isn't a planeswalker. Sorry fanboys. No, this is Rakdos the Showstopper, and he's certainly exciting and gets all the attention when he hits the board. He's a gamble and life's a carnival. Who knew with the leader of the Rakdos? This is a 6/6 legendary demon with flying and trample for 4 generic and Rakdos colors. And here's the entertaining bit. Everything stops and the coins start a-flippin'. When it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature that has a coin flip come up tails. Yikes. Devil, imp, demon, tribal. Let's go. So yes, this card is all random and all fun. Still a big body with flying and trample, but 6 mana is a lot. It's all about how much value you can get out of this coin flip circus. Obviously, you want to hit as many of their creatures as possible and limit the impact to yourself, and all that is kinda up to the board state. It's a little better in standard where you can build a Rakdos deck based on throwing your guys away. An empty board is an okay board with Rakdos here. But your opponent's board, well, let's just say you're going to want to play against a token deck. In Limited, it gets a little worse. You literally can't predict what your opponent's going to have. But even if it hits 1, 2 things, it's amazing value. Thing is, worst case, it's a 6/6 flying trample for 6. Maybe it knocks off a creature of yours, but anything else would be all value. Taking things off your opponent's board is a huge swing in your favor. Play Rakdos at your own risk, but not playing it would be worse. And there you go guys, some of the biggest drops for Ravnica Allegiance. Those who are going to do some work in this block's story as well as some amazing mythics. Let me know your thoughts on these cards in the comment section below and make sure you school me if I'm being dumb. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And of course share the video with your friends. You can also support us on Patreon, join the Vorthos army and get loads of exclusive perks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time here on the Ether Hub.